All right, so this is a quick overview of my first exploration into using makeup. And the origin of this is actually really quite silly because I never intended to actually try makeup. So one day, it was a Saturday before COVID-19 shut down all of Brandeis, I was running a participant in my experiment. And what I do is I strap people into a machine, I blindfold them, the machine falls over, they use a joystick to balance themselves. If you're interested about that, you can go to my website. I have a whole section just on my research. But in any case, I get him out and, he and I and another friend decide to go on a walk because I wanted to do some light dumpster diving because those undergrads, they were panic throwing away pure gold. Okay, so we start to head down to the dumpsters, and here's a picture of that. Here are the dumpsters. I don't even get to the dumpsters, okay, because I find this huge electronic beast. I'm not even sure what it does, but you might not be able to see, but right here in the crevice, there is a puddle. A rusted puddle, okay? And in that rusted puddle, I found this makeup kit. I thought it was actually watercolors, but when I looked carefully, it was glittery makeup. And you can see the person that used this, some of them, was used extensively, like silver. That was a favorite of this person. Other ones like this yellow color were used very minimally. Okay, so I was like, ew, this is kind of nasty, but I just couldn't help myself, and so I picked it up. And so now the next question was, what do I do with it? So I go home and I remembered that during the summertime, when I was walking through Lexington Center in the trash, I rescued a family of inanimate humans. So let me just show you. I have them here, and she was like, oh, please put makeup on me. And maybe that's what her purpose was too, of who she is. And then the two babies were also like, oh yeah, put some makeup on us. So I did, and what you see here is that what my goal was just to explore, just be free. So I put, little points of makeup, and I allowed them to nucleate from there and just sort of bleed into different splotches. So that was fun, that was interesting. But I had leftover makeup, so now I'm like, what do I do with that? And so obviously the next step is put it on my own face, which I did. Now, once I did that, it reminded me of a creature known as the parrotfish. And the parrotfish is a fish that has a beak, and they're able to eat corals and poop out sand. So it's pretty crazy. But once I realized that, hey, I can transform into a creature, the next sort of maybe deeper idea was that maybe I could use makeup as a way to transform into something different that still represents fundamentally my identity. What if identity could be expressed through makeup? And this is an idea that I've explored a lot through clothing. So I have a section on my website for clothing, maybe which I'll talk about one of these days, but I use clothing to sort of express who I am. So each of these pieces of clothing have different symbolism there. So for example, this jacket over here is actually transforms into a butterfly type thing to represent the idea of metamorphosis, which is a key part of what I do in life. So the other thing I should tell you is July 11th, 2020, I'm having a rebirth ceremony. Everyone's welcome to come. And it's going to be a dance ceremony. And I want to get into like a state of trance. And I think makeup may help me do that because it allows me to transform into something different. And so the question is, what am I transforming into? And I want it to be something that represents me. And as I thought about it, the more I thought about it, I said, oh, the chickadee, this beautiful little bird, this is actually footage from my backyard, is a state bird of Massachusetts, which is where I've grown up. Where I live is in Lexington, Massachusetts. So maybe if I look like this, I represent my land, where I grew up, my identity. And so that is the basic idea today. I'll be transforming into the chickadee. Okay, awesome. Okay, so the next question is, how do I create that makeup, that beautiful black and white that we see on the chickadee? And I was thinking that maybe instead of just buying makeup, I make it here at home using things that I find in my yard, because then it reinforces that idea of identity. So I'm gonna make a fire, and the charcoal, that's going to become the black, and the ash is going to be the white. So I'm going to use things, I'll just show you the different things I have. I'm going to use these weeds that I collected, dried weeds from my yard, to start the fire. Then I have sticks like this, which come from the catalpa tree, and I also have these beautiful wood chips from a hemlock tree that fell from my yard. So these are the hemlocks, and one of them unfortunately fell. You can see parts of its body over here, but I also have one, in my basement that I'm turning into this creature. So I have a bunch of that, and I also have larger pieces of linden. And this is from my sacred tree number 3, and you can kind of see it right there, that stump. It fell, and so now I have that, and it's a sacred tree. So I'm going to burn all of that and then show you the results. So here is the ash that I've produced in our fire pit outside. And you were actually telling me that people in India already, they use ash on their face and on their body and stuff. Can you explain that?
Yeah, people use it for different parts of their body. Mostly you will see on their forehead or on the also some people put on many different parts of their body. Some people completely cover themselves with the ashes.
Yeah, and then why, what does that represent?
That represents a reminder that this life is not permanent, and we come from the dust or ash, and then at the end of the day, this is where we end up.
Wow, that's really deep.
And then once you are putting it on you, you need to remind yourself. But these days, people just do mindlessly. They don't even think about it. But there is a very special mantra for that, which has a very good meaning, and that reminder.
Can you sing it?
Yeah. Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardanam urvarukamiv bandhanat mrityoh mokshiryamamratat.
And can you just give a general description of what that means?
It means that while we are living, the God nourishes us, our life, but once we are ready to leave this world, it should be effortless. It should not be painful. There should not be a lot of I wish I didn't die, that kind of feeling, meaning you should feel liberated to leave. Just like a cucumber, when it's ripe, it leaves the plant very easily. You don't have to pull it away or something like that.
Chickadee dee 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 dee. Chickadee dee 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 dee. You get that?